Hello all. Alright, today San Francisco, very foggy, too drizzly even to go out. Oh well, we'll do the video in the studio. So today we're going to continue on with talking about the incredible climate change that the Arctic and Antarctic are now experiencing. But this climate change is now into Canada and all the way into the US. Like so many other countries, the US has glaciers in their high mountains. Well, let's talk about just that for a minute. Let's go over to the board. So here in the US, we have glaciers in our high northern mountains. For example, in Glacier National Park here in the US, when the park was opened, they had 150 different glaciers. But now we're down to just 26 glaciers left. Mushy, are you listening to that? That's not hoax, that's fact. The only thing that could reduce glaciers by that much is severe climate change. Glaciers in Glacier National Park have retreated 39% just from 1966 to 2016. In Canada, some of the rivers are changing their course from so much melting of their glaciers and their permafrost area. This particular river even changed courses and changed over to a different river in a different direction. That's called river piracy in nature. It happens very rarely. I think we're going to see more and more of this as glaciers and snowmelt become more and more severe. What is the coming crisis? So let's talk about financing in just Florida alone here in the US. So 934,000 existing Florida properties will be submerged underwater by 2060. But many climate change scientists are contesting that number, saying it's much closer than 2060. So that may have to change to something else. So they're expecting $400 billion in losses in Florida soon, because the more and more this information gets out, the less valuable those properties will become. And people will start waking up and knowing they should never buy property anywhere much in Florida, especially south. That will soon be very shallow seas, and when the hurricanes do come to Florida, they'll just completely swamp the place out. Florida here in the US will be the first state that becomes no more. Okay, let's talk about what happens if oxygen levels on the planet Earth were to drop. The very gas that almost all life required to live here on land and in the oceans. Let's go over the board and look what happened 250 million years ago and how it's being repeated today. So there's a new study out that shows that the world's oceans are becoming depleted of oxygen levels 3 times faster than previously believed. So 250 million years ago, there was an extinction, a huge extinction, took out 90% of all life forms, both in the ocean and on land. In fact, most of the animals on land were gone. There's just a few in the ocean here and there. What happens is that because we're warming up the ocean so fast, oxygen levels in the ocean are starting to deplete. The water cannot hold the oxygen that well, and the lower you go, the less oxygen there's becoming. Now 250 million years ago, when everything was going on, acid rain, volcanoes, all that, the seas became very acidic, and it started down at the bottom and rose up like this in the water column, destroying all life as it kept going up and up the water column. The oxygen depletion became more and more, and the oceans basically were dead 250 million years ago. Now, does this matter? Well, of course it does. Look how much food is produced in the ocean. Look at what we use the ocean for our living. The more oxygen depletion that happens, the more life disappears. We have to have oxygen. But above sea level, oxygen levels are lowering as well. Very fast. There hasn't been very many studies on it. But the oxygen count above water all over the world is now declining. You couldn't have heard any worse news of the depletion of oxygen in our oceans. That's really bad. Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more ocean life becoming less and less. We're even about ready to lose another dolphin species to extinction. What a shame. Alright guys, I just wanted to get this video out, and I definitely appreciate all the comments on the last videos. As usual, they're very thought out, and people are putting out as much help as they can for me. Did I just spit on the mirror? I have to wash it again. Mushy. So, until next time.